Welcome to my new series, My Parisian Journey. So many disclaimers I want to give you before I start really quickly. I had plans to do a really cool intro and all these different things. And yeah, it didn't work out because my mother-in-law had open heart surgery last week and I had to fly to, not had to, I wanted to fly to San Antonio with Scott and see her and be there. And so it's been a crazy week. So I'm just going to start today on this series anyway. I plan to do these videos every Sunday, the Parisian Journey videos every Sunday. But today's just kind of going to be an intro. I had put so much pressure on myself on what to do on the very first week because everybody's like, I can't wait. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've put way too much anticipation on this. I mean, I even had you name my series. I mean, like it was, giving birth to something. But anyway, the reason I chose that title, and believe me, I can't even tell you how hard it was. At first I thought, I wrote every title down that y'all suggested, and so many of them cracked me up, but I didn't pick them for reasons of, some of them were just too long. Like I loved the one that said, An American Returns from Paris. I thought that one was so cute, but it was kind of long. And then there were some other ones. Paris. There were so many great ones. But the one that I chose, My Parisian Journey, really encapsulated what I'm going to talk about, how Paris changed me, and how what I've been doing in my life to enhance it, I guess would be a good word. You can do too. You don't have to go to Paris to be inspired, okay? But Paris really, really inspired me. And because I went for the first time in, I think it was 2006. Yeah, 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we didn't go back till 14. Yeah, it was tragic. It was very tragic. But anyway, all those years have really changed me. But what I wanted to talk about today, anyway, so back to the title, My Parisian Journey just seemed to put it all together. Although, thanks to everyone that entered, and I hope you weren't too upset if I didn't choose yours because they were all so good. And I was putting so much pressure on myself to have this be the perfect video. And someone, and I wish I knew who it was, but I didn't write her name down, said, relax, we don't care. Just do the video. It's not, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just be yourself. And I thought, hello, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So here I am being myself. I hope you haven't left yet. Okay. I was just going to talk today a little bit about my first trip to Paris and what it did. What was the turning point? What was the moment that I knew my life had changed forever? Briefly, I'm going to try to describe it, and I don't know if I can do it justice, but I'll try. I grew up in a very American home, very happy home, normal, suburban, family life with, all the comforts of home and everything. But we didn't have any real art in our lives. We weren't exposed to the arts, to classical music, to paintings and different things. Now, my parents totally got into painting themselves and paintings and art later after my brother and I left home. When you're raising kids, you're so busy just raising kids that you probably don't even have time to think about that. And I know I didn't either, other than I homeschooled two of my kids, well, all of them for a while. And I did have units of art and French paintings was what the books were that I bought a couple of books on French paintings, which is kind of funny now because this is way before I went to France. But I've always liked Impressionist paintings. Anyway, so I went to Paris just because I thought I would see the Eiffel Tower and, I don't even know what I thought. I just wanted to go. I really wanted to go. I'd always wanted to go. I'd always wanted to speak French. Well, I got there, and the first year was the first 3 days were very weird, unsettling. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know what we were doing. We were very nervous going into restaurants. Do you wait to be seated? Do you just sit down? everything. And we learned very quickly in France, and probably in any country, watch what others are doing and follow their lead. Most people just walked up to a cafe and sat down at a table, although this time we did the same thing, and that's the normal way. You just sit down and then you wait a long time for the waiter to come. But this time we did that, and there was a wait, and so we had to go inside, and that had never happened to us before, where you just couldn't sit down in the empty table. But there were like 3 other couples in line kind of waiting at the bar to sit down. So you never know. But anyway, things were just weird, and things were the whole place was so different than anything we had experienced. And so about day 4, we stayed 8 days that year. And about day 4, we kind of started, I wouldn't say relaxing, but we kind of got into the swing, got into the groove, and I quit walking around like this. I mean, because, you can't even believe. And what I got from year 1, what I was trying to understand, and what I think about to this day, is it was the first place I'd ever been where things were beautiful just for the sake of being beautiful, okay? Most of those buildings were built, back in the early 1800s, I believe. And, well, no, not most of the buildings. I don't even know when they were built, but a long time ago, okay? And when you look at American buildings, now we're a much younger country, 200 years. We came here by ourselves. I mean, we came here, all these different kinds of people with all these different skills, but we didn't have any supplies. We had to do it all from scratch. Everything. There was nothing here but trees and grass, right? So everything was built from scratch. So our country was kind of built utilitarian, if you understand what I'm meaning. I mean, just like a simple log cabin, a simple Western town, whatever. Things were built quickly and in the best way they could be built with the supplies you had available. Now, we've certainly caught up with the masses. We have built a nation, right? But they had things to build upon that had been there for so long. Well, when Paris was redone, when I think his name's Bernard Haussmann, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right. When Napoleon asked him to tear down the city, get rid of the squalor, and build these new buildings, oh my Lord, they did them so beautifully, just for whatever reason, for the sake of beauty. Versailles was built for the sake of beauty. That was in the 1700s, 1600s. I mean, that was the thing about Paris that got me. I would pass a water fountain, and I would look at, it wasn't really a water fountain. It was a place to get water. It's been there forever. But there's many of them in the city. But it was so gorgeous. And I'm like, why? Why did they go to this much trouble to do water? It didn't make any sense. Why did they go to so much trouble to make everything so beautiful? And I started thinking about that. And I think I grew up thinking that overindulging or overdressing or over anything was kind of wrong. I don't know. It's just a weird kind of a thought I had in my life that you just needed to just be and not go over the top to be beautiful or to dress beautifully or to make your home absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Just live and let live. That's kind of my thought back then. But once I was exposed to beauty at every single corner, on every single block, in every street of the center city of Paris, I just thought, oh my gosh, these people look at this all the time. Why can't I look at this all the time? I live in a place where everything's square. I live in a place where it's steel and metal and glass, and there's no curvature to everything. And just everything was so pretty just for the sake of being pretty. Every light post. You don't have to have a light post that's totally carved with faces, boats and ships coming out from underneath the lights, and little curlicues on everything. You just build a light post. That's what I thought you would do. And I had never really thought about the difference between something being handmade and something being bought in a store that was mass produced, because we have a lot of mass produced things here. I mean, every country does now, but we invented mass production. The Henry Ford invented the what's it called? The line, the factory line, factories, everything was mass produced here. So I never really saw the beauty in something homemade, handmade. Why would you pay so much more for a shirt that was hand knitted than a shirt that came off, I don't even know. But do you see what I'm saying? Okay, for the first time I understood the human touch means something. Planning ahead means something. Taking time means something. And I think that was the takeaway from Paris. And the day it really hit me was almost when the trip was over. We went to Notre Dame. And when I walked up to that building, I'd heard of Notre Dame my whole life, right? But I thought it was called Notre Dame. And I knew it was a church, and from a distance, you had shape difference where, okay, oh my gosh, when you get up to it, every inch of this place is deliberate. It's deliberately done that way. And so I was just looking, and I couldn't get over all the carvings of the statues in the front along the thing, and all the carvings on every door and doorway, and this is just the front I'm talking about. And I was just blown away. And so we went in and you walked along the perimeter of the inside. And then I just told Scott I have to sit down, and we went in that little place where everybody's sitting, and we sat down. There was a service going on in French, but it was quite beautiful just to sit there and soak it in. Well, over to the side, of one side, to the right, I believe, there's a mock-up. There's two glass cases, and there's a mock-up of Notre Dame now, and then there's a mock-up of Notre Dame when it was being built originally, okay? And I was reading about it, and they've got little men, pushing the little wooden carts, little figurines and everything, and it was showing how they did the ropes and built this place, right? But then I started reading the dates. And this time we went, there was a whole wall explaining what Notre Dame was year by year, every, 100 years or something, what had happened, what was going on, who was running the show, who was owning it, who was redoing it, who was adding to it, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, when I was at the mock-up and I was reading, I read the date when they started. I don't remember what it was. I'll try to put the day be the year below, and then the year it was kind of finished, although it's always going through renovations. And it was hundreds of years. I can't. And what struck me then were those little men, those little figurines that were building this thing, knew that they would never see it finished. They would never see the end of the project. But yet they did it. Now, were they doing it just for food and water? I don't really know. I think a lot of it was very peasant labor. But then the beautiful things, the statue, like I would have probably put one statue in the front, real pretty. Here it is, here's the statue. No, there's statues all over the place. That's the other thing about Paris. The opera house, there's so much on top of it that you'd never see. You never see it because it's too tall. And so why did they go to so much trouble to the part that you can't even see? It blew my mind. Why would these men work on this building, this church, with knowing that they weren't going to see the finished product? Who would do that? Is what I'm okay. It just changed everything for me. It just made me realize so many things. It was just a watershed moment, an aha moment, as Oprah says. Oh my gosh, this is what makes life beautiful. This is what makes life worth it. This is what makes, while we're living on this sin-filled earth, the beauty that we can grab. We need to grab it. We need to be artistic. We need to be creative. We need to take the time to do these things because it feeds your soul. That city feeds my soul like nothing I've ever experienced that's man-made. Now, my soul is fed when I'm in the mountains of Colorado or any of those kind of places. The beach, all that is God-made, and man, it touches you totally. But man-made things can touch you too. Art can touch you. Architecture can touch you. I just can't explain it enough. But that is the first part of my journey, was discovering beauty just for the sake of it. Just for the sake of it, you know? When I put my makeup on in the morning now, when I discovered YouTube, I do it and it's fun because it's almost a creative process every day. I never do my hair the same. I don't do my hair the same every day. I don't put on my makeup the same every day. I don't wear the same outfit every day. So it's a little bit of a creative process, even that. And when you can find beauty and joy in the small things, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So that is my first entry into my Parisian journey. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Hopefully some of that resonated with you, or if it didn't, you can start thinking about it. You can go to an art museum in your city. You can get art books from the library. Go sit and read art books at Barnes and Noble while you're drinking a cup of coffee. Just start looking for beauty everywhere you go, and you'll be amazed what it does for you deep down inside. That's it. I'll see you next Sunday on my Parisian journey.